Alright, welcome everybody, welcome to my very first YouTube video. We're in Xplane 11 today. We're going to be flying the Zibo 737 800 from Orange County, John Wayne Airport, all the way to Phoenix, Arizona today. It's not a long flight, it's a little short hop, roughly about an hour and a half between gate to gate. With about an hour 15 flight time. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into the cockpit here. We got a cold and dark start today. So we got a cold dark cockpit. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and get this thing powered up, get our load all in here, passengers in, and we'll get ready to taxi on out. So first things we want to do here, we want to go to our ground service. We're going to get the GPU connected, which is our ground power. Helps power the aircraft before we get it started. Make sure our door is open for our passengers so they can come on in. We can go ahead and get the cargo doors open as well. Go and start our ground service here. Bring up our menu. And those will start driving up and down, which you'll see here on the side come up. Alright, now the luggage and everything's getting loaded, let's go ahead and power up the aircraft here. We'll get the battery on, get our ground power connected. Alright, we're going to get our window heat on and our pilot heat, probe heat. Then we want to go ahead and get our navigation light on since the aircraft now has power. Seatbelt lights can come on, smoking lights. We want to go up here and we want to start the align the IRS. This is what provides the navigation to the airplane. So that's going to go ahead and get started loaded now. Alright, that's it for up here right now. Alright, so we're going to go down here to the FMC. We're going to go ahead and put in our location, which is KSNA for John Wayne. We're going to set our GPS for the nav, so we'll load that in. Okay, our preference page here. Now let's go and we're going to load the aircraft. Alright, so we're going to go over to our tablet. We're going to get our load set. Go to the fuel, weight and balance page and payload. We can go ahead and bring up our Sim Toolkit Pro here. It's going to show us exactly what our load is. So you see it's going to be let's see, payload of 41,400. So I'll click on payload here. Put the total payload, so 41,400. Hit enter on that. Then we go back. We're going to need total fuel on board today. Our block fuel is going to be 12,307. 1,307. Go ahead and insert that there. Alright, so we got a pretty full plane today. Alright, we're going to go ahead now. Call the fuel truck so we can get our fuel on board. And then we go ahead and go back down to the FMC here. This is our flight computer where we're going to input our, we go ahead and start inputting our route today. So we're going to be going from KSNA, which is John Wayne, to KPHX, KPHX, which is Phoenix. Okay, we are southwest 3240. Put that in the FMC there. Alright, so now we're going to wait though for our fuel to be loaded. We should see the fuel truck out here. Yep, looks like they're just about done loading baggage. So we can go ahead and call them away. Them drive away. We'll go back up here and we can go ahead and close our cargo doors. Alright. Now I'll wait for the fuel to be loaded before we do our weight and balance. We're going to go ahead and just put in our route here. So we're going to be departing today, runway 20 right, via the Pig Knee 2 departure. And then our Cherney transition, that's going to be our route. We're going to activate that and execute. Then we want to go ahead and we'll go back to that. We're going to do our arrival. Arriving into Arizona. We're going to expect runway 26 right now. That could change depending on the weather when we get there, but as of right now it's going to be runway 26 via the Hydra 1 arrival with the BLH transition, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, BLH transition. Then we're going to go ahead and execute that. Alright, go to our legs page here and see our route. Go up here real quick and change this to plan. Alright, so now we can go ahead and see our whole route here. I'm going to step through it, make sure everything links up, check for any discontinuities. As you see, we got a discontinuity right here. We're going to check flight pattern. We're going to go from Cherney direct to BLH. So all we're going to do is insert that here to fix that. That should connect there. I'm going to scroll down here and everything else should be good all the way into Phoenix. Alright, yep, everything else is good. Alright, fuel should be close to being loaded here. We're going to go ahead though, we're going to get our flight director switches on for our flight. We're going to go ahead and start our APU. Let's go ahead and get some fuel switches on. We're going to start our APU up. Get that going. Electric hydraulic pumps can go and turn on. Yaw damper can come on. Alright, let's check, see if the fuel guy's still outside. Yep, still loading fuel. Should be almost done though. Alright. We'll go ahead and run some of our tests here while we're waiting. Aircraft over speed. Stalling tests. Those are all good. Go down here, make sure our tending button works, ground calling button's good. After that, come down here, flip the lights on, make sure all of our lights work. Go up here, check, make sure everything's illuminated, everything's good. Go down here, check, make sure everything's illuminated down here as well. Alright, light test is good. This is where the co-pilot normally run the test over here.
Light slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
Make sure all of our safety systems are working.
Pull up. Obstacle.
Alright.
Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Alright, fuel should be done loading now. We're going to go ahead and set our weight. Pop that in here. Put our reserves in. We got 2.3 for reserves. We got a cost index today of just 5. And we'll be going to cruising altitude of just 31,000 feet here. Alright. Just letting us know that we have a steep descent after Lemon. But that's alright. We can use our speed brakes. Alright, we're going to go to our N1 limits, which are engine takeoff performance. We're going to leave it at the max setting for optimal takeoff. That's fine. We're going to set our flaps to 5. Get our center of gravity in here. It's 4.75. Put that here on the trim wheel. That's about right. Set our takeoff speeds here, V1, V2, and rotate speeds. So we got a V2 of 149. So we're going to go ahead and input that here of 149 and arm that. Alright. Alright. Now that that's armed, I'm going to go ahead here and we're going to set our transponder. Alright, let's go ahead and go down now to our radio panel here. Let's get our squawk code put in. The ATC is giving us, which is going to be 4504. Alright, so that's good to go. Oh, let's actually put our panel brightness up here. Okay, we can also set our panel lights on for down here. Oop. Let's see, did we turn the top? Nope, let's turn the top panel lights on too. Alright, so that's all good to go. Alright. So we're just about ready to push back here. Just gonna make sure everything's good to go. We can do our fire test real quick down here to make sure that's good to go. Alright, that's good to go. Let's go ahead and call our pushback.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Alright, let's get our APU on. APU bleed is on. Alright, everything up here is set. The tow is driving up. We're going to go ahead and turn our beacon light on, let them know we're ready to go. Jetway will move away now. We can disconnect the GPUs, we no longer need that. Alright, they're connecting there to give us a nice pushback here.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, let's go and take a break off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and turn engine number 2 over to ground. Start engine number 2. Alright, we're going to make sure N2 spools up to about 25%, and then we will want to introduce the fuel to get the engine up and running. Alright, let's go and put the fuel on. Oh. So we got engine number 2 starting. Alright, engine number 2 is good. Let's go ahead and start engine number 1. Same thing here, we're going to wait for it to spool up. Fuel to number 1.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake is on.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
We're going to get our flaps set here. Flaps 5. Alright. disconnect with some hand signals here. Alright, we're going to go and get our takeoff headings insert. Runway heading is 196. Alright, our initial climb altitude for the Pygmy 3 or Pygmy 2 departure.
Disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
Alright, thank you very much. Alright, our initial altitude is going to be 13,000 feet here. That's our initial climb. About 10 minutes after departure is when we'll expect our full altitude up to 31,000 feet, which is our cruising altitude for today. Which with our cruising altitude, we're going to get that set here too to 31,000 feet for the pressurization. Get our landing altitude set for Phoenix, which is about 1150. Another aircraft taking off. Alright. And our altitude heading set. Put our brakes in RTO for takeoff here. Get our taxi lights on. Alright. Go ahead and arm the LNAV and the VNAV. Alright. Final systems check here, make sure everything's good to go. Fuel pumps are on. Oh. Just put on our engine generators here. Packs can come on. Isolation valve to auto. APU bleed off. APU coming off now that the engines are up. Alright, everything up here is set. Alright. Autopilot panel is set. Let's go and turn on our transponder. We can release our parking brake and we are ready to taxi. We'll supply a little bit of power. We are on our way. We'll be taxiing right down here to Lima. We're going to cross the runway 20 left to get to the runway 20 right. Alright. We'll be giving clearance for takeoff now. We're going to get our landing lights on here. We get our wing light on, let them know ready for takeoff. So we're going to speed up our engines here to max before we start going. Alright, get to 40%. And toga. Alright, airspeed's live. 100 knots. V1 and rotate.
V1, rotate.
Gear up.
400.
400. We're going to go ahead and bring our flaps back to 1.
Airspeed
1,000.
Airspeed low.
We can go ahead and kick on the autopilot here. Alright. Take our gear and turn our landing gear off. Alright, we'll track the flaps all the way. Clean up the flaps. Alright, so we're past 10,000 feet. We can go ahead and turn off our landing lights. Our taxi lights can also come off.
Thousand to go.
Alright, we can go ahead now. We're getting our clearance. We can keep climbing to our cruising altitude at 31,000 feet. Increase this here. We'll go ahead and click the VNAV here, and this should get us going again. I'll see you guys at the top of our climbing cruise altitude here. Alright, we're getting to our cruise level now of 31,000 feet here. So we can go ahead and take off our seatbelt signs. Let the passengers move around a little bit. Make sure everything is good. And we won't be cruising very long here. It's our top ascent. We're about 80 nautical miles away before we start beginning our descent here into Phoenix. So it's brief, short cruise. Not bad at all here. We got a pretty good tailwind, so that might actually speed up our arrival here. A little bit of a cross, but still coming from the tail, which should definitely help us move along here. But everything is looking good. Everything's looking good, okay. So right here, about 83 miles from our top of descent here. Roughly saying we'll get there about 1800 Zulu. Oh, our auto throttle has come off for some reason. Let's see if we get that fixed. There we go. Now this plane does have a little bit of bug with the auto throttle just because I'm using the Thrustmaster quadrant that's designed for the Airbus, but I've gotten it to work with this plane. But every so often it will think the throttles have moved and then it will kick off the auto throttle. So you just kind of have to pay attention a little bit, but not a huge deal. Everything's still fairly simple in this airplane. I love Boeing. It's just an awesome aircraft to fly. You know, fly in as well. I've flown on Southwest many times. It's probably the #1 airline that I've flown on. Real good, solid, reliable aircraft. But we got about 10 minutes till we get to our top of descent, so not too bad. So yeah, just enjoy the view here, and we will see you in about 10 minutes. Alright, as we get closer to our top of descent here, we're going to go ahead and start getting ready for our descent. We're going to take a look at our charts here for our arrival. We're doing the Hydra 1 arrival here. Alright, so as of right now, until we get the ATIS information from Phoenix, we're expecting runway 26 right. So we're going to be descending down to 7,000 feet here at the bottom of our approach. It could change depending on if they have changed which runways are landing. But we can change that, that's no problem. So right now that we're going to assume 26 is going to be our arrival. So 7,000 feet is what we got in the thing. We're going to be doing an ILS approach here into Phoenix. So we're going to bring up our charts here. So ILS 26, alright, so we're going to put in our course heading here. Course will be 258 for that runway. Entering both sides here. This is the only side that takes precedence since I'm the captain and in command of the plane. But you still like to set both sides just for the fact of an emergency that co-pilot's able to easily take over and everything already be set up. So, we got our heading in there. We go and fix our heading to the direction we're currently flying. Alright, so that's all set. We can go ahead and get our auto brakes set here. The runway's fairly long, so we'll just do auto brake 2. We don't really need to do anything. We don't need to stop any faster than that. So auto brake 2 is set. Go up here and check everything, make sure everything's still good. Everything is still going good. We're almost at our top of descent here. As you see, as our engines are spewing back because they know we're about to start our descent. So it's slowing the aircraft down to the descent speed. Alright. Let the cabin crew know that we're about to start descent. Alright, next thing for arrival, we're going to set our nav frequency. This is how the plane lands up at the runway. Let's go to ILS mode here. We're going to 11.75. I'm going to put that on both sides. 0.75 and insert that in. So the frequency of the runway guides the plane in. If you were going to use an auto land, this is what it's mainly for. But most of the time, pilots use it to help them guide them in. A couple miles from the runway, they'll kick off the autopilot and they'll hand fly it in, which is what we'll do. Reasons they would not do that would be like severe weather, severe winds. That's when the auto land comes into play there, to make sure we safely land the aircraft. But As of right now, the winds are pretty calm in Phoenix. It's a little cloudy. We shouldn't really have any issues with landing today. Alright, we're approaching our transition altitude, which is 18,000 feet. So we're going to go ahead and click our barrow over here from standard back onto regular. Pressure, this just helps determines the airplane's altitude based on air pressure.
Phoenix Sky Harbor INTL information November.
We're going to get our ATIS now coming in from Phoenix.
Wind calm. Visibility more than 10.
Alright, so they're arriving at departing runway 8.
5,800 view. Temperature 12.
2985 is the
Altimeter
new altimeter.
Arriving runway 08.
Alright, so we're going to have to change it up here a little bit.
Advise on
Let's
initial
go head over
contact
to our FMC here. Now that we got our ATIS information, we're going to be changing to runway 8 is what they're arriving on. So we're going to input ILS 8 and execute here. Go to our lake page here. We're going to plan. We're going to just step through this real quick, make sure everything is good. Alright, so we're going to have to bring in the drag here. Introduce drag because we're going to have a little steep descent now to be able to catch up to runway 8. Our new altitude here. Let's take a look at the chart real quick. The Hydra 1 arrival. Now we're going to go all the way down to 5,000 on this until we get closer. Alright, now we got to put a new runway information for runway 8 here. New course heading is going to be 078. Put that in. 078. Put in the co-pilot. Go 078. Alright, the ILS frequency, because it's the same, just the opposite end of runway 26, which we're going to do. The ILS frequency is still the same at 111.75, so we don't need to change that at all. Just right up here.
Phoenix Sky Harbor INTL information November. 1700 Zulu weather. Wind calm.
Alright. Put our minimum altitude in here of 250 for this approach. It's just our decision altitude, so if something were to go wrong, we'd have to abort landing. This is our final decision altitude. Right. out the descent. I'm going to go ahead and do flaps 1. I'll bring our speed down. We need to slow down, have more time. So we have more time to get down to the ground here. He says it's going to be a steep arrival, just because we were not expecting runway 8. It's always a little bit of a pain in the butt when we have to switch it up like that mid-flight, but you know, it is what it is. I'm going to take this down all the way to 3,000. This is going to be our final low altitude before we descend via the ILS approach. Which would be at the was up at waypoint here right after Jamal. Was when we'll be at flight level 3,000. Go flaps 2 here, help with the speed. We're doing a little bit of speed over here. We're sending the 40 quickly. Alright, we're going to put our localizer on here. Should be capturing localizer. Here we go. And the localizer captured. I'm going to put on the approach mode. Glide slope's been captured. Alright. Should be coming back off the speed here now as we're getting lower. We'll go flaps 5. Reference here, we're going to be landing flaps 40 here. So flaps 40, 141 will be our speed for the final descent here. We go to flaps 10. Flaps 15, gear down. Our landing gear down here. Alright, get the speed brake off and armed. And go flaps 25. Flaps 30 and flaps 40. So we got flaps full here. Got to spewing up the engines a little bit. We don't want to get too much slower here. It's about at the right speed now for landing here. 1,000. As we are now fully configured on our airplane here. Everything's fully configured. Flaps are out. We are good for landing. We got the runway inside here. We can go ahead and hit the autopilot off here. I got control of the airplane. Getting a little low.
500.
Just want to keep it on that glide path. Nice and smooth. Keep it lined up with the center line here.
300.
300.
Flight slow.
Minimums.
Flight
Minimums,
200.
continue.
Flight slow. Flight slow.
We're a little low, but that's all right.
100.
Flight slow. Flight slow.
50.
Flight
40.
slow.
30. 20. 10.
Reverser's out. Check the reversers, manual braking. Alright, welcome to Phoenix, everyone. A nice smooth touchdown here. Go ahead and take this taxiway. Clean up the airplane now. Spoilers in, flaps in, landing lights are off. We get the APU started here. Let's prepare her for arrival. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and turn the next taxiway and we'll find us a spot here at one of the gates. Go to the gates right here on the left. Got plenty Plenty of parking spots here. Alright. Go ahead and take this gate right here. I'll slow it down a little bit. Alright. Alright. Taxi lights and everything come off. There we go. We line up here. Alright, let's go ahead and set our parking brake. Engine 1 and 2 can come off. Let's go up top here. Beacon light can come off. Seatbelt's coming off. Chronomites. Right. Alright, fuel pumps. We'll leave just the one on for the APU. Everything else can come off. And transponder comes off as well. Alright, and we're all set. Alright, well, welcome to Phoenix. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. Remember, if you guys enjoyed the flight, remember to like and subscribe down there at the bottom. Comment anything you guys want to see next, where you want me to go, what kind of plane you want me to fly in. Just send your comments there on the video, and we'll see you next time. Maverick Mike out.